So, are we actually live? Are we actually live? Looks like we're actually live. So, this is good. What I want to do is open up the video of Jordan Peterson and Michaela Peterson talking about their chronic health issues. And I want to shed some light into my experience and what I've learned over the past 10 years um, implementing what Dr. William Davis talks about in his book Super Gut and implementing what he talks about because there's so many carryovers. Hearing about Jordan Peterson and Michaela, his daughter's health issues, it just breaks my heart because I've had to deal with the same issues
six
and
weeks.
it's been extremely challenging. I mean, let's talk about it for a second before we just watch it together. Because I want to watch it and I want to talk about it. And we can look at what Dr. William Davis talks about. I have this book right here. This book saved my health, probably saved my life. Michaela suffered with mold for years and years, and so did I. And fixing the gut health, being able to detox, understand my mental health. I mean, she had horrible anxiety and depression that came on just from eating certain foods, and so did I. And it was just a brutal 3 years for me. Just trying to understand, like, why do I feel like such garbage? Like chronic fatigue, um, dealing with just like depression and chronic fatigue. So bad that I could barely even like get out of bed for a year and a half. And so she's had a nightmare of health issues too. And so has Jordan. And so I know that some of you guys are dealing with this too. Chronic fatigue, brain fog, joint pain. Like Michaela, she talks about how she had such bad arthritis and joint pain that literally she had to have a hip replacement and ankle surgery at the age of 17. It's just like, doesn't that just break your heart? Doesn't that make you angry? Doesn't that make you question and wonder what's going on in society? Why are people having these horrible, demonic health issues that literally just feels like a demon's coming after you? It's like it's worse. It's being tortured. You know, maybe you guys feel like that. Like maybe you feel the brain fog, the anxiety, the insomnia. It's like you're being tortured within the coffin of your own body. It makes you not even want to be alive because just by existing, you're tired, you're cranky. It makes relationships so difficult. I remember it was so hard to socialize. I mean, I went through massage school as I had these chronic fatigue, chronic depression, chronic anxiety, food sensitivities. I wanted to die. And, Michaela had similar depression and anxiety. She talks about how she was eating like soy and it just destroyed her for like months. Jordan, poor guy, it's like his favorite food was just PB&J and J and some chocolate milk. It's like it seems like this is the innocent stuff that they're feeding to our kids. But Jordan, he suffered, and Dr. William Davis also has a lot to say about it. And we're going to look at it. We're going to look at what Dr. William Davis has to say about it. So I hope you guys have some tea. Hope you're ready to watch a little bit together and learn about your health. Learn about health philosophy from Dr. William Davis. So you're going to hear it from the the horse's mouth, so to speak. So we can look at what Dr. William Davis talks about, and we can look at what Joe Rogan is talking to Michaela about. We can have a nice little time. I'm gonna grab some tea, maybe eat a little bit of fruit. Just had a nice workout. Ate 7 eggs. It was really nice. Those 7 eggs. Didn't eat it with anything. It's inspired by Michaela talking about how even lettuce triggered her. So this is real stuff. Let me just comment on this. So I also had weird food sensitivities come up. Now, what happened with me was really weird. I was living in a moldy garage and I had a couple of jabs because I was going back to school. And so they gave me the Tdap. And then I got long COVID. And so this cluster of three weird things happening to me. And all of a sudden, I couldn't eat hardly anything. And it would just make me feel so tired and drained. And I had these food sensitivities. Something had to be happening in my gut because Dr. William Davis talks about this. Dr. Davis talks about how literally autoimmune diseases as hardcore as lupus and type 1 diabetes, where the body is literally attacking your organs, it happens from leaky gut. It's all about how, our gut, it's like the Great Wall of China. There's tons of transportation happening behind it, right? Our food is traveling through our body. But imagine if there's holes in the Great Wall of China, then everything is spilling out into the world, and then all the bad stuff can come in. That's what leaky gut syndrome is that you're eating things and you have toxins in your gut that punch holes in your gut, and then the nutrients leak out of your gut, and then bacteria and harmful molecules get into your gut, and it's just a clusterfuck. And that's what's causing a lot of these chronic diseases and the food sensitivities and the weakness. And so we'll continue to watch, but I just wanted to comment on how that's a real thing. And if you're having food sensitivities, if you're having sleep disturbances, it's worth looking into your diet. It's worth cleaning up your gut health. And we're going to talk about what was causing them to have these gut issues. But it can be anything from eating the wrong foods to eating pesticides, medications. They talk about emulsifying agents, just these preservatives in foods. Everyone's sensitive to different toxins that are coming from the environment and different foods. But a good overall plan is to remove all these harmful things that we know aren't supposed to be in our diet. It's the safest thing to do, and you'll find what actually works for you. You'll find what's causing the holes to be punched in your gut, which could be causing your skin issues, your energy issues, your sleep issues, not wanting to work out, feeling fatigued and depressed and anxious for no reason at all. Let's watch. Thing, you never know what little toxin is going to trigger you. And so the safest thing to do, and this is what Michaela did, was stripped it down to only meat. Elimination diets. You strip it down to something that you know doesn't bug you. This is what I had to do. At one point in time, I was eating just like peas and avocados and bone broth. Like, it sucks. It really sucks. And yes, take your multivitamins, but you have to find what you can actually tolerate as you go through this. And it's not that you're going to have to stick with only that forever, because Dr. William Davis, we'll watch a little bit of what he says. He talks about how you can detox your body, you can detox your microbiome, you can restructure your microbiome, you can rebuild that wall in your gut, and then you can start planting good seeds in there and grow trees again, and then you have a strong gut again. Those are the probiotics. And he talks about his secret Lactobacillus reuteri yogurt, which is really, we're going to do an experiment right now. I mean, I experimented with it in the past, and I felt like I was on steroids. It boosts your testosterone, your oxytocin. Testosterone is basically the vitality, the God hormone. It's going to make you feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And oxytocin is basically the love hormone. It's going to make you feel like Casanova, pretty much. You're just like so socially effective. You're so smooth. You're just so unanxious. And these probiotics, the L. reuteri in your gut, once you fix your gut and you plant these good probiotics, they help you in such powerful ways that you won't have to have these food sensitivities, because your immune system won't be freaking out because you don't have the leaky gut. It's kind of like when you have the leaky gut, your military is just like, oh my God, it freaks out and starts shooting everything that's coming out of that hole in the wall. That's what autoimmune means. It means your immune system is just freaking out. So your soldiers are killing your own men. It's freaking out and killing your own food. But once you fix that hole in the wall, it's pretty much like you fix the hole in your border. And so then your immune system calms down and you can eat stuff again. So it's not that you have to stay on this elimination diet forever. It's just temporary. You let your gut heal. You get rid of all the inflammatory foods. Most of the time it's wheat, gluten. A lot of people are sensitive to dairy, corn, soy. These are the huge offenders. But some people, like Michaela, they get sensitive to like even greens. there's so many things that we can talk about. Like some greens have FODMAPs and oxalates and anti-nutrients and all these fancy things, but a lot of times we don't even have to get that specific unless if you're a hard case. A lot of times you can just start eating really healthy whole foods. Just buying everything grass-fed, organic, so you're getting rid of all of the pesticides, all the toxins, and you're eating vegetables that don't have poisons on it. Who would have thought that that could help your gut recover? You know what I mean? Who would have thought that that could foster better gut health? And, this is just a logical place to start. We're going to look at what Dr. Davis has to say after we watch a little bit more of this. Watch. Okay, so brain fog is another huge thing that hit me. It just sucks. Like, when you have gut issues, leaky gut, the chronic fatigue is one thing, the brain fog is another thing, the depression is another thing. You just feel like you're going through hell. And it's like she went to the medical industry and started taking drugs. Like that's like she had to do it to just survive. Like, and that's exactly how I felt. Like I was bedbound for a year and a half. I didn't know what the hell to do. My energy, my anxiety, my brain fog, it's hard to focus. I was on my computer and my phone for like 16, literally every single hour of the day, 16, 17 hours a day, because my brain would spin out of control and I would just start having the darkest thoughts. I was in a horrible place. And it's horrible where your body and mind goes. But it's a spectrum, guys. So maybe you're thinking, well, that sucks for you, but I don't have those kind of serious problems. But it's a spectrum. It's not on or off. A lot of people have minor anxiety, minor fatigue, and it's building up. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they're wearing down their defenses. You're wearing down your immune system, your gut health, your gut lining. And you don't want it to come to the point where one day it breaks and you have that hole in your gut. That's why it's important to be proactive about these things, because once you start having these issues, the doctors, most of the time, they don't know what's going on with your body. They're not going to say, oh, well, you probably have leaky gut. I've been trained in holistic health and I understand how whole foods are important and I know how to heal your gut. I know what to avoid. I know how to give you herbals that will like coat your gut lining and help it heal, like aloe vera, slippery elm. I know about natural antibiotics that are going to kill the bad bacteria but preserve the good bacteria in your gut. No, they're just going to give you like, take this antacid, take this antibiotic. It's going to bomb your entire probiotic, your entire gut health, and then you're going to be in a horrible place. And so it really just is it's a warning, really, is like once you're on that slippery slope and you let your body break down, it ain't a good thing. So, I just want to scream from the rooftops that everybody should be eating as healthy as they possibly can, educating themselves more and more, because this isn't just about preventing suffering. This is about performance enhancement. This is biohacking. Like people talk about biohacking their energy, biohacking their productivity, biohacking their intelligence. Well, one thing that people always overlook is your gut health, the power of your digestion, the ease at which you digest food. It's the basics. It's the basics of how your body actually produces the hormones that affect cognition, anxiety, focus. So a lot of people, they have the brain fog, and a lot of people have minor brain fog, and they're looking to increase, maybe you're looking to increase your performance, but you're not thinking about like, maybe if I had like really good gut health, really good digestion, and the probiotics in my gut that actually produce the neurotransmitters that help me calm down and focus and concentrate. So everybody knows about GABA, how it's kind of like that calming drug that you get, kind of like when you're relaxing next to a fireplace, when someone's speaking to you in a slow, calming tone. That's GABA when you're falling asleep. It's that calm, but it's like a focus, right? It lets you focus more. It's not this like jittery anxiety, right? And so what you want is like the perfect stew of neurochemicals in your brain that comes from a healthy gut. And so what we found is we don't want inflammation. We don't want hyper stimulation, right? Like she's talking about Adderall. A lot of people find that when they take caffeine, they're a little bit jumpy, hard to like pay attention. Sometimes it does help you focus, but the basics of just lowering your stress levels, lowering your anxiety, that's the fundamentals, okay? The fundamentals of focus, productivity, brain health, mental health is just lowering the inflammation, reestablishing energy, reestablishing healthy hormone levels, and it comes from exactly the basics of what we're talking about. Just getting rid of all the toxins in your diet that's hurting your gut health, eating the foods that help restore your gut health, and then planting the probiotics. So there's a lot of steps in that, and there's a lot of details, and you can leave your comments below what you actually want me to go into detail about. But I want to just give like this is a case study. This is a wonderful, interesting, fascinating case study. I think a lot of us can relate to it, and I just want to keep on giving like bird's eye view understanding, because I feel like this is a wrinkle in people's brains that they haven't realized, is that you can revolutionize not just your body but your brain by taking care of the fundamentals of gut health. All right, because it has to do with not just hormones but neurotransmitters, powerful, life-changing neurotransmitters that change the very way you think and feel. That's why we call it the second brain. It's not just a colloquialism. That's why Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut. That's a huge statement, okay? So thinking about your life, thinking about your mental health, thinking about your energy, thinking about your productivity, I want you to connect that to biohacking. I want you to connect that to your health. I want you to connect that to your gut health. I want you to understand the intercorrelations and how you can make more money if you have a better gut. Literally. If you're not making the connections, if you laugh or scoff at that, it's literally just because maybe you haven't experienced it, or maybe we have to bring more awareness. Maybe we have to bring more education to this topic, where this isn't just a gimmicky fad. This is literally talking about your second brain. This is literally talking about where your body gets its energy, where it gets its healthy hormone production, how it produces the neurotransmitters that affects how you think. Like a lot of people, they've heard that 80% of the serotonin is produced in your gut. Serotonin is what helps you relax. People who don't have enough serotonin and the right balance of serotonin in their bodies, they feel depressed and anxious. They have mental health disorders. That's why people are going on the SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, okay? So before we start guzzling down drugs and going to antidepressants and going to alcohol and weed, I really just want to give people this option, this understanding, this awareness that if you fix your gut health, if you fix your nutrition, if you fix the fundamental of your health, which is your gut health, it's like that will fix so many issues in your life. It's unpredictable, but okay, so let's comment on a couple of things, because she touched on how Adderall has all these side effects, and it's like it kills your short-term memory. It makes you socially strange. It's literally messing with the chemistry of your brain. It's just very dangerous. What the drugs do to our physiology, whether it's blood pressure, statin medication, cholesterol medication, psychiatric medication, it's altering things that are very complicated, and so it's like a last resort. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous, and you hear these horrible stories of people trying to readjust to normal life coming off of these SSRIs. It's pretty much like you have given yourself like a mechanical limb that has just been doing a lot of your thinking, a lot of your chemical work for you. And then when you don't have it, you feel like you just have one leg and you're just limping around. It's very hard for your body to readapt. Kind of like testosterone replacement therapy. People who come off steroids, they just feel like they're just impotent. They just feel like their energy is low, their confidence is low, their workouts are bad. It makes you very depressed because it's hard to operate without these crutches. And so I always say, I mean, listen to these people's stories. It's very dangerous. We don't know the side effects and the harmful scars that these pharmaceuticals can leave on people. And it's very hard to come back once you've depended on them. And so there's a lot of different ways that we could actually heal without having to depend on them. And God forbid, God forbid that we actually like be preventative and actually prevent ourselves from getting to the place where we need these powerful enhancers in these drugs. Second thing, so now he's talking about the carnivore diet. Carnivore diet is very extreme. Now, Dr. William Davis doesn't recommend the carnivore diet. He recommends taking out the wheat and the grains and unnatural foods. That's the basic premise of it. Unnatural foods that harm your digestive system, that you're not supposed to be eating, right? So back to the idea of evolutionary mismatch. Amazing, foundational, um, philosophical understanding of how human beings were just doing things that we're not designed to do. It's a fancy way of saying that. And this is such a powerful framework because if we can just return back to doing things how we used to do them according to when we were cavemen, then a lot of things fix themselves, right? So the whole idea, and we'll get into it soon, is wheat. Modern ancient man never ate it. It's an agricultural crop. It looks like grass. You can't walk by wheat, pick it, and eat it. It's unnatural. So it's kind of like if a person was eating grass all day and they're saying, I don't know why, but I feel depressed. I feel out of it. I have diarrhea. I have brain fog. It's like, dude, you're eating grass. You're eating leaves from a tree. And the guy's like, yeah, but that's food. Other animals eat that. It's like, yeah, but you can't eat that. You don't have the digestive system for that. That's exactly what's happening. We're putting stuff into our bodies that we aren't designed to eat, and it's hurting our digestive system. And then our body is freaking out, and we're having all these issues. And so, really, it's that basic. It's just using our brains to understand what to eat beyond all the fad diets and all the weird things that people are saying. No, no, no. Just be natural. Just be natural. Just be natural. Let's not be evolutionarily mismatched like Daniel Lieberman, the famous sociologist, anthropologist, talked about. Let's just be natty. Let's just be natural. What did natural humans eat? Would they eat fruits? Yes. Would they eat meat? Yes. Would they eat nuts and seeds when they came across them? Yes and yes. What wouldn't they eat? They wouldn't eat commonly grown agricultural garbage. They wouldn't eat fake food, the ice creams and all the emulsifying agents and the weird peanut butters and the margarines. And it's just don't eat unnatural food. Eat foods with one ingredient. Apples. That's it. No pesticides. No, 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 no. Apples. Not granola bars. No, 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 no. That has, you look on the ingredients list, it has like 30 ingredients. You know, go get some organic milk, organic grass-fed milk, organic grass-fed eggs. And better yet, if it comes from the Amish, where they don't mess with it at all with industrial packaging and processing, even better. So this is super interesting, and it's just a testimony to how it's kind of dangerous to go extreme with these diets, right? Like, God bless Michaela. She found a diet that works for her, but that's her body telling her that it works for her. You know what I mean? Who's to say what she should eat? She's an expert on her own body, right? But when it comes to people emulating other people's diets, the safest thing to do is to trust your own body, right? Is to actually be observative about the foods that you're eating and follow general guidelines. Don't be so extreme. Like, people go so extreme. And I got punished by doing this too. I mean, I went vegan. I even went raw vegan for a little bit. You know, so the ideas get so convincing. It's so sexy, the idea, like, just eat raw because it's still alive. And if you cook an apple and you plant it, it can't grow a tree. But if it's alive and you eat it, then you're going to feel alive. But the thing is, if we just eat naturally, then our body gets more of what it needs, right? So Dr. Weston Price has some interesting stuff. We can go over his stuff, but he just looked at natural tribes. He went to 50 countries and looked at natural tribes, and none of them were vegan. And very rare were they carnivores. It just makes sense. Like, when would you only eat meat? Like, if you're in Alaska and there's no plants that can grow, and you have to only eat seal blubber and seal. So maybe 0.01% of the population can be carnivore because that's how their ancestors lived. But for the rest of us, it's like the rest of us had a mixture of eating some plants that naturally grew, that we naturally ate, right? We would hunt natural game. We would eat the berries, and it wouldn't be mass produced with pesticides. And so we would drink the milk. We would have animals. We'd drink the milk. Humans are designed to drink milk. It's the first food that we ever are designed to drink, but it's not bastardized milk. It's not pasteurized, homogenized, coming from tortured animals that have antibiotics in them, all right? So that's a disclaimer. So what I want to do now is go back to a part where Joe was actually talking about how they were having an argument. Joe and Michaela were talking about how Joe was saying everybody should exercise and there should be no excuses. People should never say, like, I don't have the energy. And I think he was missing a point of what Michaela was saying, because she was saying that it's a complex issue, that a lot of people are dealing with underlying devastation of their health, and that's why they don't have the energy, and making them push through a workout isn't going to solve that problem. It might actually make things worse, but Joe didn't really see that. Why? So I see his point. He's talking about people who are just being lazy, right? But a lot of the time in America now, what we're seeing is a lot of people, even if they do force themselves, I've seen so many people as a trainer. They come in and they exercise and they force themselves to exercise, and they still remain being a fat ass for years and years and years. It's not about forcing yourself to exercise. Michaela's point here is that people are dealing with the breakdown of their hormonal health, their gut health. They're literally falling into chronic disease to where their body's breaking down, their organs are breaking down, which means their hormones are malfunctioning. The hormones that determine your metabolism. Everybody knows about the thyroid and how low thyroid means you're going to gain fat. You're going to eat a little bit of food and your body just packs it on. What about low testosterone? Low testosterone, low growth hormone happens as you get into your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. You start seeing this like old man type body where you're losing muscle, you're losing energy, you're losing vitality, you're losing that spirit, you're losing your bravado. And people are killing their testosterone because there's all kinds of testosterone killing agents in the environment. And so Michaela's making a more nuanced point here. Joe is making the simple BS type argument that I see so many fitness professionals pushing. They just say, well, we gotta eat less and move more. Well, that doesn't work, guys. It doesn't work because there's an underlying problem that people are not detecting with their fitness caveman brain. Okay? You can't just use a hammer to fix every complex issue. That's what this comes down to. People who say, well, we have so much chronic disease in America because people just have to eat less and move more. It's not a complex enough solution to the problem, because people are actually moving. And just because they move more, guess what that does? It makes them hungrier, and then they want to eat more. It's not so simple, guys. It really isn't. Like, I've seen people try to do what you're saying, right? It sounds nice. It sounds like a great solution. People just gotta, like, put on their big boy pants, and they gotta get out there and just eat less and move more. They just gotta stop being so gluttonous. Well, that's easy for you to say if it worked for you, because you're coming from a place where you don't understand chronic disease, you don't understand hormone imbalance, you don't understand how people literally have their bodies being broken down because they're eating such bad foods. It's not just that they're fat, it's that their gut health has been seriously compromised. They might have a minor version of leaky gut. They have toxins affecting their liver, their thyroid, their pancreas, their gallbladder. Literally, these are diseases that are happening. Like, people need new kidneys, their livers are failing, Their pancreas is going out. What does that mean? It means that literally the digestive organs of the body are becoming weaker and weaker and weaker and producing less hormones, less digestive enzymes. The digestive systems of the body are breaking down. The metabolism is therefore breaking down. The body can't digest food well enough. And so the solution isn't just eat less and move more, it's remove the poisons from your diet. Let your body heal. Detox your body of all these poisons. Stop eating the foods that are creating inflammation and damage to your organs. Cut out all the poisons that you're putting into your body. Let your hormones heal. Let your gut heal. And then you're going to feel like you're producing energy again. You're digesting well again. Does this make sense? So let's see the rest of their intro. Have pushed themselves so hard without results, just trying to like force themselves, have discipline, eat less, move more, and they've tried it for so long, for years. And maybe you can actually relate to this. Maybe you've tried it for years and you haven't gotten results. And so the whole question is like, well, what the hell? Like, what am I even doing any of it for? And that's why people kind of get like demoralized and discouraged. They're just confused because their trainer just keeps on saying like, you just gotta like eat less and move more. Like you gotta just be more disciplined, resist the temptation. Like, but people, they need more nuanced, sophisticated understanding of their body. This doesn't cut it anymore, guys. Like, we're at a market sophistication level where people need more nuanced and more intelligent approaches to fixing their health that actually work. It isn't just like this military grade boot camp instructor just shouting, eat less, move more, eat less, move more, eat less, move more, yes sir, yes sir. It doesn't work. Like, I understand it makes you feel tough, but pounding the pavement, people have been trying to do hard exercise works and CrossFit, and there's something deeper going on here, guys. And Michaela's hitting the nail on the head. She's identified and understands that there's poisonous food in our culture, and people are eating this poisonous food and it's causing deep problems with their organs. That I think that a lot of people are frustrated and they get angry because people keep on telling them all you gotta do is move more and eat less, not understanding that there's actually something going on with their thyroid. And when people say like, I just feel out of it, like I literally feel like I've tried so hard, I've done this for like years, I haven't lost weight, I still feel de-energized. And the people, the meathead trainers just say like, you just gotta count your calories. It's all about calorie balance. It's like, you just face palm and you're just thinking like, these guys, they're just trying to fix every problem with a hammer. They don't have any understanding of the complexities of the human body. And they're just using their hammer and just saying, I got this education that says it's all about calories. Just eat less calories. Just track your calories. Just move more. Just burn more calories. Just count your protein. And these people are frustrated and they're angry. And then the reason Joe Rogan, how he responds to that is, you fat fuck. Just eat less and move more and have more discipline and force yourself. He has good intentions, and I see his point, but it's not enough. This is not the real problem. This is not how you help people who are really suffering, who are really trying hard. People try hard not to be fat, Joe. People try really hard to be healthy, but they need to understand the nuances of what foods are poisonous to their body. They have to know the nuances of how to help their body heal. It's not just as easy as like, eat less. Ugh. Krug say eat less. Krug say squat. Krug say bench. It's not that simple. This is not the solution to all the chronic disease and all the pain and the suffering that's happening. It's not going to cure all the autoimmune disease. 50% of people are getting cancer. Right? Like 600,000 people are dying from heart disease. People are having liver disease, kidney disease, pancreatic disease, Alzheimer's, dementia. All these are the top killers on the list of what's killing the most Americans per year. And it's not just because they haven't done enough squats or push-ups. It's not just because they've eaten too much food. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. And so in a second, we're going to take a look at Dr. William Davis and wrap this up. And we're going to take a look at his understanding because he brings a doctor level understanding, and he has helped thousands of people in a very simple, straightforward way lose weight, have more energy, heal their chronic diseases, cure their brain fog, just by making simple changes to their gut health, which changes your hormones and makes you feel like you're not degenerating, you don't have a disease. And so it's the basics. It shouldn't be so complicated. And then once you're actually healthy, yeah, you can eat a little bit less and move a little bit more. And because you're not diseased and your hormones are healthy, then you start to see results. Watch. Yeah, laughing because he's missing the point. If there's something wrong with the metabolism, if there's something wrong with the mitochondria, if there's literally something wrong with the gut health and the digestive process, that you literally have like 100 units of energy when you're supposed to have 1,000,000, yeah, you can go and force yourself to use 50 of those on climbing a hill. But what about actually fixing the disease that's taking away the 1,000,000? Because you're supposed to have 1,000,000 units of energy slash ATP every day. That's just an arbitrary figure. And this is really what it feels like when you have chronic fatigue. Something's wrong in your system. Your digestion is off, your metabolism is off, your organs are suffering, you can't digest food. There's a problem that's happening in your GI system. And so you're not able to physically create as much energy. And it literally feels like you have 1/1000th of the energy, right? So is it going to really fix it if you take that little energy that you still have and force yourself to go do a little kettlebell workout, Joe? Or should we actually take away the disease that's afflicting the mitochondria, that's afflicting the digestive system, so that you can go from having 100 units of energy to having 1,000,000 again? This is what Michaela's trying to tell him, but he's in caveman mode. And a lot of trainers, a lot of fitness professionals, quote unquote, are still in this archaic mode because they haven't had to go through the same struggles. Anyone who's gone through the struggles and has had to dig into the details of what's happening with your body, of how your body really works, and you've for years suffered and struggled trying all the bullshit theories that fitness professionals try to tell you to do, like calories and steps and just hydrate more and all this basic stuff. It doesn't literally fix the underlying issues that a lot of people are having. Like, hello, some people have parasites, Joe. Some people have mold in their system. It's called candida. People have to understand how to detox and get these parasites and the mold out of their system. Literally, people have bad bacteria in their gut that is literally killing them. It's literally killing them. Bacteria killed millions and millions and millions of people. It's a deadly agent. And people die from bad bacteria. It's not just about moving more and eating less. Come on, guys. Like, there's bacteria, there's pathogens, there's literal parasites that enter into our system that we have to understand how to detox. And people used to fast more. And people used to have herbal medicine. People used to do like panchakarma in India. They understood what oils and herbs to use to purge their bodies of these harmful toxins that were ruining their metabolism and their life. And it's not just force yourself to do another workout. Like, yeah, everybody can benefit from some movement for sure. So fair enough, he's making that point, but he's completely missing the complexity of what Michaela's talking about. So let's take a look a little bit about what William Davis has to say about diet and about nice AI video. About diet, about grains.
When you bake it, you kill all the microbes.
And this guy, okay, so Dr. Davis is literally one of the most intelligent doctors when it comes to understanding the inner workings of your metabolism. He's helped thousands of people literally transform their health without even trying to lose weight. So he helped his cardiology patients not only avoid having a second heart surgery, but just by cleaning up their gut health and helping them detox their gut, he helped them effortlessly lose 20, 30, 40, 50, sometimes 100 pounds. He didn't try to get them on this calorie deficient diet. He just said, let's clean up your gut health. Let's reintroduce some healthy strains of microbes that our ancestors used to have. Let's fix up your hormonal health just by removing harmful foods that are unnatural to your diet. And people were just losing weight and people were feeling healthy again. So let's listen a little bit to this conversation that he's having here and we'll wrap this up.
Got it. So sourdough is we got somewhat of an okay. I'll take that as a win. What I think is so interesting about you, one of the things is you're a cardiologist. So you mentioned LEO particles in the book. You talk about TMAO, which is a marker we should look at. And before I go to TMAO, because you say how we're thinking about that is flawed, at least traditional medical system. Can you talk about how this all ladders up to heart health and how you kind of got interested in the gut, in the biome, in grains from your perspective? You're a cardiologist.
Well, I began many years ago putting in stents and doing atherectomies and angioplasty and aborting heart attacks. But then my mom, who was living in New Jersey where I grew up, died of sudden cardiac death after her successful 2-vessel coronary angioplasty. Well, that's what I did for a living in Milwaukee, Cleveland and Milwaukee. And it illustrated to me just how unsatisfactory it was to try to manage this very dangerous disease in a cath lab, because people often don't make it to the cath lab. They have a heart attack at home, or they die shoveling snow, or something like that. So I wanted to find a way to help people identify those kinds of bad heart events 2 years, 5 years, 10 years before they became a real risk. Well, back then, this remains true today, the best, most accessible way to do that is to score the calcium in your arteries, because you could see it, and calcium comprises 20% of total atherosclerotic plaque volume. So I set up the first CT, back then at EBT, but now CT scanner in Wisconsin, one of the first in the Midwest, and we started scanning people left and right. And you know what, Jason? When you look for silent early heart disease, it's everywhere. And so I have all these people freaking out because they have high scores. Normal is 0, any score higher, 300, 500, 1,000, means you're getting closer to a heart attack, death, sudden cardiac death, or needing a procedure. Well, back then, this is 20-some years ago now, people would come in and they'd have a score, say, of 300, and they say, what do I do? Well, back then, I would say, well, take aspirin, a statin drug at high dose, a cholesterol drug, cut the fat and saturated fat in your diet, and exercise. Now, we help publish these data. If you do nothing, the score goes up on average 25% per year, and you get closer and closer to dying, a heart attack, etc. If you put somebody on a high dose of a statin drug like Lipitor, and an aspirin, low-fat diet, exercise program, heart scan score goes up 25% per year. There's no impact on this measure whatsoever. Well, my colleagues, the experts, said things like, well, if we can't stop it, don't rescan these people, let them have their symptoms or heart attack and deal with it then. I thought that sucked. I thought that was a terrible answer. And so I looked for ways to at least slow that 25% per year. That was money. Imagine what that would do. That's a very rapid rate of growth. So it took me some years of zigzagging and trial and error, but it led me to lessons like this. You add vitamin D, and it was the first time I saw scores drop. A score of 900 would be 480. So
hitting your goals has nothing to do with discipline. The real culprit is friction, and it slowly erodes your progress.
All right, so
unlike what most people believe, it isn't because of laziness.
Dramatic.
What he's talking about so far is basically a lot of doctors, they'll just prescribe the standard medical advice. That doesn't really help. And it's basically just leading people down this corridor to their next procedure and then just do another heart procedure on them. So let's see what he found out.
Decreased. You can actually see the plaque shrinking on the CT heart scan. But one of the tests I was running back then was it's become clear that cholesterol testing is an absurd, outdated notion, and that there are better methods to quantify the particles in the blood that lead to heart disease. One of those methods is nuclear magnetic resonance, or NMR, lipoproteins. And when you see somebody with heart disease, whether it's a high calcium score, or they had 2 stents, or they survived sudden cardiac death, or any of those things, you'll see that virtually 100% of them don't have high cholesterol. That's a ridiculous notion. In fact, they usually have average cholesterols, but they do have, almost without exception, an excess, a severe excess of small LDL particles coupled with insulin resistance and inflammation. And so the only thing that causes small LDL particles, this science came out of UC Berkeley, Hopkins, real science, not my science, other people's science. They showed that the only foods that did that were grains and sugars. So I had my patients, all these people, I said, let's try this. Your small LDL on your lipoprotein panel is 2,400 nanomoles per liter, something like that, particle count per volume. Let's try it. Remove all wheat, grain, and sugar. They'd come back, and the small LDL would be 0 or some other very low number. In other words, it wasn't just an improvement, it was eradication. But this is when I learned from people would say to me, you didn't tell me that I'd have to stop my insulin and metformin because my blood sugar dropped so much I'm no longer a type 2 diabetic. You didn't tell me I would drop 57 pounds and I would lose 8 inches off my waist. You didn't tell me that my ulcerative colitis or rheumatoid arthritis got so much better I'd have to stop the prednisone and the anti-inflammatory drugs, the biologic injections. So I did this, Jason, just for small LDL particles in people with high cardiac calcium scores, and I stumbled into this thing. But it took me a while to accept this because when you think about it, now wait a minute here. I tell people to remove the foods that virtually all physicians, all dietary guidelines, all dietitians, all tell people should be the cornerstone of diet. We take it out and we see life, health, and weight transformed.
What a beautiful thing, right? So this guy's been doing this for decades now. He basically just said, let's take out the foods that cause inflammation and the LDL particles in your blood that cause the atherosclerosis and the heart attacks, right? The calcium in the arteries. And just by doing that, people are not just seeing improvement in their blood workings, but they're losing weight. Everything that he just said, they're losing weight, they have more energy, their skin looks better, their testosterone is going up, their energy is going up. They're not having to take medications anymore. Their blood sugars are stabilizing. Their type 2 diabetes is going away. It's really amazing stuff. So let's listen to the rest of the story.
So, it took me a good year of thinking whether I was the asshole and I had overlooked something. And I was expecting to of course I'm wrong. I never came across that thing, Jason. In fact, the deeper I dug, the more I did this, the more I realized that this was a real thing. And as you've seen, I think the reason why people latched onto that message is not because of my charisma and good looks. It ain't that. I think it's because it works.
Hear you on processed carbohydrates and processed sugars. In terms of meat, how do you think about the role of meat and what role, if any, in your opinion, does it play in cardiovascular disease?
If this was a perfect world and we could do whatever we want, Jason and I would grab an axe, a spear, a bow and arrow, and go kill something. And
what a vicious person. He would go kill something? Man, what? I thought that he was a good person. I thought that, man, Dr. Davis, you're a violent guy. You would actually kill these harmless animals? You would actually... How could you say such a thing? You would actually behave like modern man? You would actually behave like people in the Bible? You would actually behave like every single natural tribe in the earth? You would actually behave in the way that nature is having all of its organisms behave? How dare you, man? How dare you? How dare you swat that mosquito? How dare you plant this farm that naturally kills insects? How dare you kill? How dare you? Guys, I'm obviously being facetious.
And we would, at the site of the hunt, tear open its belly, eat the stomach, eat the intestines raw, maybe eat a slab of liver, eat that, and then drag the carcass back to the clan and roast it over a fire. That's how humans are supposed to eat. Now, modern humans have gotten so
that's kind of like what the carnivores are saying. Eat the liver, eat the intestines, eat the spleens, eat the kidneys. He's even saying that you can eat it raw if you just killed the animal. Now, this is the kind of crazy stuff that Dr. Western Price talks about, because he actually sees how humans behave in their environment. And they're doing this and they're healthy.
Squeamish that we no longer eat the brain or the heart or tongue or liver. And we even do really stupid things like buy boneless, skinless chicken breast and not take all the nutrients out of the bone marrow, the collagen, hyaluronic acid in the skin. So we've all gravitated towards this kind of almost comical way of eating. So meat has nothing to do with coronary disease. Meat has nothing to do with colon cancer. So that came from deeply flawed observational epidemiologic studies. I say, Jason, what did you eat last Tuesday? You say, well, I think I had 3 eggs and I had maybe some sausage, but then what did I have? And then we take those questionnaires, and then I call you in 5 years and say, Jason, how's your health? You report your health, and then we construct some kind of association. That's garbage science. That is the bulk of what came out of the nurses' health study, for instance, the physicians' health study. 22,000 physicians, 47,000 nurses, asking them things like, did you drink milk today? And then trying to predict colon cancer or heart disease 5 years later, 10 years later. They're absurd studies that can only begin to generate an hypothesis. Unfortunately, people like the USDA and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services regard that as good science. It's not good science. It's garbage science that can only become an hypothesis to be proven in real.
If you aspire.
All right, so let's wrap this up here. Basically, he's saying all of these assumptions that are in the modern day science came from garbage studies from people who are trying to prove a point so that they can push their product, right? So it's a flawed study. People think that eating meat, drinking milk have been scientifically proven to cause heart disease and health problems. It's coming from such flawed science. Basically, they're not testing enough variables. Just because someone's drinking milk and then you see 5 years later they have heart disease doesn't mean that the milk caused it, right? But this is where the science is coming from. But I just wanted to introduce you guys to Dr. William Davis. Truly amazing doctor, seeing amazing results. Just by helping people return back to a natural diet, not eating foods that wreck your health that we're not meant to eat. Okay? So let's wrap this up today. What did we learn? We looked at a lot of the health issues that Michaela was talking about having. Oh wow, I'm definitely gonna watch. We're gonna watch this one next, guys. Michaela Peterson and Dave Asprey. That's gonna be a great one. But you look at Michaela and Jordan Peterson, and they got such amazing health benefits just from taking out the grains and finding the diet that their body likes. So if you're dealing with the same issues, and if you're feeling like you're having brain fog, chronic fatigue, anxiety, depression, mental health issues, weight gain, you're having skin issues, maybe even autoimmune issues, your blood work's looking bad, you just feel out of it, then I would say really look into Dr. William Davis. Look into the paleo diet. Even Mark Sisson talks about it. I'd say Dr. William Davis is a great place to start. He'll give you a nuanced understanding. Mark Sisson talks about the same type of things as eating a grain-free diet, eating foods that are natural to the human body, just fruits, nuts, seeds, meats, avocados, some olives. It's just such a miraculous way to move forward and enhance your energy. I mean, I remember when I was eating bread and oatmeal and millets, thinking that I was healthy, not understanding why I had the munchies, why I feel anxiety and energy crash and tired after it. And I did this for years, guys. So I'm telling you, this can make a revolution in your mental health, in your energy, and really, it can help you get out there and like want to do stuff again, live your life again. Like, I wanted to go out and socialize, I wanted to go out and play sports, but a lot of times I didn't just because I didn't have the energy. And so all of this is life-changing stuff. Post your comments below. Really want to know what you guys are thinking in regards to this diet, in regards to any nuanced questions that you might have about a lot of different topics that we spoke about. There's a lot to dig into And what we can do is, moving forward, we can look into what you guys want to see more of. Do you want to see more of William Davis? You want to see more of Jordan Peterson and his daughter Michaela talking about their health issues? You want to see more of Mark Sisson, or we talked about Winston Price, how he traveled to 50 different countries and looked at all these different indigenous tribes and how they lived their life. They all kind of fit together, so look into that. And by the way, if you want to start detoxing, if you want to start understanding how to clean your gut, raise your testosterone, and understand the basics of this paleo testosterone gut health diet, I made a specific 7-day starting course. It's a reset that fix your gut health so that you can get like a 101 education of what we've been talking about. I want you guys to feel what it feels like to really reset your body and start eating the foods that are natural, easy to digest, has a little bit of intermittent fasting. But what it does is it really cleanses and helps you eat foods that help your gut heal. And then your testosterone starts coming back online, your digestion is back online, and you just start feeling like you're healing. You start feeling like you're natural again. And so I want you guys to experience that. You know, I went through a lot of hell, and I really wanted to make something that's basic, straightforward, but powerful at the same time. So I want you guys to get that. It's free. So I put that in the description. You guys can get that. Let me know what comments or questions you may have. And what I'm doing too, guys, is I'm looking for people who want to participate in a 24-day masterclass, 28-day, 4 weeks masterclass. And I want to see how much weight we can get you guys to lose. What I've been seeing so far is that people doing the super gut and the wheat belly diet by Dr. William Davis, they're able to lose like 20, 30 pounds in a month. And so I basically just want to introduce what I've been learning from Dr. William Davis, gut health, the paleo diet, Mark Sisson, and Dr. Weston Price, and combine it into this 4-week masterclass. And so I just want to give it for free. I'm going to put a link below. You can apply for that if you just ask a question, answer a question, basically just wondering what's the biggest question that you guys have regarding this system of eating, the system of health. And if you answer that question, fill out the link below for the Google form, then I'll see if I have room in the class. And if I do, then we can work together and we'll see what kind of questions you have and what kind of results that we can get just implementing all this life-changing, amazing health science. You know, health should be much simpler, much easier, but unfortunately we live in a society that has toxins and poisons and fake foods and bad medicines and toxic medicines, and it makes us hell on earth, where amazing people like Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson, you know, they struggle, they go through hell. They go through hell, absolute hell. And it really makes me angry. It breaks my heart that people are suffering through hell just from eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, guys. You know, autoimmune disease, brain fog, depression. It's trying to squelch out these amazing people. You know, I love Jordan so much, and you know, who knows? Maybe you're the next Jordan Peterson. You know, maybe you have a contribution that you can make that's equally as important. You know what I mean? Even if you're not well known, you're gonna change someone's life, and you don't deserve to suffer, man. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to have a shot at your greatness. You deserve to have a shot. And it's just unfortunate that a lot of people are getting degenerated and poisoned, and they're getting taken out. They are. That's just the sad fact of it. And it's not people's fault, you know? People are trying their best, but we need more education. So that's what I want to bring moving forward. You know, this is my life mission. I really feel like this is a sacred mission that I have, to just share the story, share the education, share the awareness. I want to make a community and a movement so that people can have stories and just motivation, and not just prevent disease, but to optimize their life. And we're going to look forward into more of the biohacking, more of the performance enhancement, more of the amazing things that can start happening when not only we fix our gut health, but we start getting these super probiotics in our gut. And this is natural stuff too. This isn't some kind of flashy probiotic I'm trying to sell. This is eating the natural things that we used to eat, like the sauerkrauts, the pickles, the kimchis, all this fermented food, the natural dairy, the raw dairy, the kefirs, the kombuchas. You know, the old style beers used to have all of these amazing ferments in them, not hops, not all this estrogenic bullcrap that we have now. So modern man had probiotics, and so when you start getting all these things, you start to just manifest your genius, manifest your vitality. And so, you know, that's why we call it the Genius Vitality Podcast. You know, there's a lot of amazing things that come in. Your mental health gets so much better, guys. I mean, the testosterone boost, the oxytocin boost, the energy boost that you have, the power that you have in your body and your brain, it just sets you up for an amazing foundation of mental health, of just productivity, of potential, right? So I want that for you. I want that for your family, your kids. I want to reverse how America is degenerating, and it's a travesty. It's a silent war that's degenerating a whole generation of human stock, and that's the American stock, and I want to defend that. We gotta be health warriors. We gotta stand up. We gotta stop it. It stops here and it stops now. No more of this. No more of this fake food. No more of the poisons. No more of the fake medications. We need a movement. We need people to rise up and take back what's ours, our potential, our birthright to be healthy and to have the pursuit of greatness, the pursuit of greater lineage, of greater genetics, of physical evolution that leads to the unlocking of your genius. It's just like getting out of poverty, guys. We have to have this foundation strong, and then we can ascend Maslow's hierarchy of self-actualization. You know, that's the purpose of life. First, we got to take care of our physical health, our survival, our food, our shelter. That includes health, right? Then when we have that unlocked, only then we can start moving into companionship, alliances, friendship, love, higher purpose, genius, accomplishment, attainment, realization, mastery, enlightenment. Until we have the foundation, how are we going to build and create this beautiful mansion of our life? So we got to establish this foundation that is unfortunately under attack. And so we're the health warriors. We are the biohackers, the health hackers. To hack your health and to hack and undermine this physical degeneration. So it's really important. This is really important, not just for physical health, but for the mental health of our future. So I want to say thanks for being here. This has been a good one. I'll be back. Leave your comments below. Remember to get your free 7-day cleanse and apply for the 4-day beta masterclass. Be healthy. Be strong. Be blessed. Hope this helped you. Leave a comment below.